Hello, hello, my friends. It is time for my mid-October candle chat. This is a series that I like to do where typically twice a month on my channel, I sit down, I share with you what is currently in my burn rotation, share some thoughts about how candles are burning. Sometimes I've already done dedicated reviews on them. Sometimes they're candles that probably down the pipeline here, usually within a couple of weeks, I'll have full post-burn thoughts. If I've received anything in PR or as a haul, I will share that with you as well, which reminds me, I'm probably going to have to edit this video because there's a couple of things I did receive and I forgot to come put them in front of me. So I'll show those to you guys at the end of the video. But yeah, it's just kind of a fun video. It's very laid back, so feel free to grab a drink, grab a snack. I tend to be a little bit verbose, so you know this is probably going to be a little bit lengthy. But hey, it's a video as we're heading into the weekend. I hope that I can keep you guys some company, either if you're cuddled up and having a nice hot drink, or if you're maybe doing some chores around your house. Whatever, I hope that I am keeping you company by just chit-chatting about something as frivolous as candles. So all of the candles that I'm talking about today, I will make sure that I have listed in the description box down below with timestamps and any affiliate discount codes that I may have to offer. Also, I did want to let you guys know that one of the things you're going to notice here is that I'm definitely starting to crave I'm not yet full-blown into full-on holiday fragrances, but you're going to see by my rotation here that I'm starting to gravitate towards a little bit less fall fragrances. I'm still burning, quite honestly, you guys, I still have in my burn rotation, if you caught my early October candle chat, I'll have that linked at the end of this video, but a lot of those candles I'm still focusing on burning. I do want to finish a lot of those up by the end of this month. So those are still in my burn rotation, but I just thought that I would show you some other candles that I've gone into my stash and started to burn. And you're going to see that I'm definitely starting to crave holiday scents, although I'm not yet quite ready for all of the full-blown nostalgic Christmas scents. But you're going to see a little bit of a theme going on here. So like I said, grab a drink, grab a snack, let's settle in. I do just want to take a moment really quickly to acknowledge the beautifully glorious weather that I am dealing with on the day that I am filming. Here in Arizona, October, truthfully, you guys, so it starts to cool down to us, but cool down to us means that the highs are still like in the upper 80s, maybe around 90. And over the last couple of days, we've actually had 2 tropical storms off the coast of Baja move through, which has brought some rain, hence my very flat hair. Fun fact about me, you guys, I have very fine hair. But it's, I have a medium amount of it, but it's very fine. And some people, like my daughters, actually have naturally curly hair. Their hair frizzes and poofs with humidity. Not my hair. My hair flattens to my head. I actually had my hair beautifully curled yesterday, and today it is super flat, but we had rain yesterday and the humidity. So, and today I just could not be bothered to do my hair, and I figure you guys don't really care. You're here for the candles anyways. So yeah, this is what we're getting today, and it is what it is. So anyways, I am enjoying this glorious weather today. I actually don't even have any candles burning at the moment because I have all of the windows open in my house right now. It's kind of breezy outside. It's partly cloudy, so you might see some lighting fluctuations, but it's currently only 72 degrees outside right now, and it's not humid anymore, so it's just this beautiful, breezy. I am soaking it in because, again, if you've lived in a hot climate like this, if any of you guys are fellow Arizona dwellers, you guys know typically we're still running our air conditioning during the daytime right now, and so it's just a beautiful thing to not be doing that. And so I actually don't have any candles burning at the moment. This morning I did have Caramel Sundays Halloween burning. I had Kringle Candles Pumpkin Waffles and Kringle Candles Lil Devil all burning this morning, but I actually just extinguished those, and I'm letting the air kind of, or like letting the breeze come through and kind of air out the house. And then I think I'm going to relight. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to relight here, but all right, you guys, that's enough of an intro. Let's go ahead and get into all of these candles that are currently in my burn rotation. Why don't I go ahead and start out with a holiday fragrance that I actually did a post-burn review on last week. This is Santa's Workshop from Kringle Candle. We have fragrance notes of wood, cherry, tobacco, suede, musk, and cedar. Now, this candle was sent to me in PR by the brand. I am always transparent when I have received candles in PR. But I did do a review on this last week, and you guys, I have to say, This has been a huge surprise for me because on Cold Sniff, I think I ranked this one maybe number 5, I think, out of the 6 fragrances. Um, I I actually like this a lot more upon burn. Now, do I like it enough that I want to repurchase it? No. But is it a nice complementary fragrance to some of the other candles that I've currently been burning? Yes, it is. This to me smells like a cherry wood. So there's a cherry note in here, but it's not like summertime fruity cherry. This is more of like a dark cherry type of note that would be more indicative, like I would say, mixed with those suede and wood notes. It gives off more of a cherry wood. I get a slight hint of tobacco in there. I feel like if you liked a fragrance a couple of years ago in their Christmas lineup, they had a fragrance called Father Christmas, which was kind of, there was kind of like some leather notes going on in there. It leaned a little bit more traditionally masculine, but also it wasn't full on like cologne like. I feel like you would like this one. If you tend to like more like woody, earthy types of fragrances, to me, this is not cologne-like. I know that I've seen some other ambassadors think that they felt like this is kind of in the vein of Tom Ford's Lost Cherry or any of the dupes. I've had that perfume, and I don't think it smells similar to that. I get a lot more wood. My nose just depicts this as cherry wood. I think the name Santa's Workshop and the imagery that they used on this label are very appropriate for the fragrance that I'm picking up, because this does just smell like a fresh cut, like cherry wood. Like there's yeah, but it's not like the woody note that I got in, what was the one, like the rosewood and vetiver and some of the fall lineup that was very much like cedar wood and patchouli. This is a different kind. This is more my speed. I can get behind this. Strength and Throw, I think on this one I gave Strength and Throw about a 7. It's pretty decent, but I primarily have been burning this in my bedroom as complementary fragrances. I actually finished burning this week HOMEWORX' Cypress and Fir, and I felt like this pairs really nicely with a lot of tree fragrances, particularly fir scents. There's another candle that I reviewed earlier this week that I'm going to talk about that this pairs really nicely with. But yeah, I've actually been impressed by how much I have enjoyed it. Like I said, not going to be a repurchase for me, but I have been enjoying it. A candle that actually is a repurchase for me, this was from the Country Candle Limited Edition 2024. They had like a holiday limited edition release. Now we know Country Candle is no longer around, but a couple of months ago they were running a clearance. I want to say that these were like 50% off. This is the fragrance Holiday Churro. Now, I initially purchased this in the limited edition lineup. Like I said, Holiday 2024. I purchased this one, and there was another one I think called KRINGLE Express, which was more of like a peppermint type of fragrance. And truthfully, you guys, I ordered that one mainly because it has imagery of a train going through like a snow-covered forest. And I've talked about at length how my dad was a huge train nut, and my 13-year-old son loves trains as well. But this one, Holiday Churro, fragrance notes on this are cinnamon, sugar, donut, spice, and vanilla. Now, I don't know if this is currently available on the website anymore. I doubt it is. It might be. If it is, go get it because it's really good. But I mentioned in a dedicated review that I did of this candle last year, this doesn't really necessarily remind me of a churro. This kind of reminds me of French toast when it's burning, and I mean that in the best way. You get like a breadiness to this, but there's also like a cinnamon sugar note, but the cinnamon is not too red hot cinnamon. This is just really, really well done. Like I said, I burned through an entire one last year. I loved it that much. I find this to be a pretty versatile scent going through, fall and winter. It's not necessarily a Christmas scent to me, which is why I've started to burn it right now. Now, Strength and Throw on this one, I have to say that this candle I lit up in my daughter's room yesterday, and it was throwing out of the hall, which I remember burning this one. The first third last year I remember was quite strong for me. I think I gave this in my dedicated review somewhere between a 7 and an 8 in terms of Strength and Throw. I think I got varied performance as I got towards the middle, which is typically my burn experience with these large country candle formats, and then it picks up usually at the end. But the thing that I was going to say, if this is not currently available, there are some, they released them last week. There were like some surprise 3 wicks that KRINGLE launched. Now they're not in like their typical, I would say they're not in the typical 3-wick format like that we were used to, like the painted jars. They're kind of in that, what a lot of people are saying, like that, like cheap label, yeah, like cheap label. And it's a fall and holiday. They released a fall collection and a holiday collection. And there's one fragrance in there. I saw it. I'm going to pop up a picture of it somewhere here, that I was looking at the fragrance notes, and it had me a little bit curious if it was possibly a repackage of this fragrance. Now, I know a lot of people saw when Kringle did those 3 wicks in the spring and summer, there were some noticeable repackages from country fragrances. Now, I do have some information that I was told from when I was actually at the Kringle factory. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to like disclose it, but I will say that some of those 3 wicks are indeed repackages of country fragrances, but they are not the country fragrances that are going to make it like permanently into the Kringle lineup. So if you're worried that like some of your favorite country fragrances, that like that's the only version that they're going to be made available in, they're 2 different things. There are fragrances from the country lineup that are going to just transition and be part of like the Kringle 2 wicks and 4 wicks and daylights and wax melts. Like they're just going to transfer those over and put them into the Kringle lineup. But some of these like newer packaged 3 wicks are also country candle repackages, but they might not be fragrances that are eventually going to make it into the like official Kringle lineup. I guess that's the best way that I can put it. So anyways, I'm very curious to see again if it's that one. It was like cinnamon sugar, or is it French toast? No, it's not the French toast one. It was something like a cinnamon sugar type of fragrance. Anyways, I'm very curious because I saw the fragrance notes and I thought, I think that those look similar to the ones on Holiday Churro. I do know that the banana bread fragrance, we were told, is a repackage of the old banana bread. But if you are curious, I have not yet placed an order for those candles. They are 3 for $33, just like the pricing on the spring and summer ones when they launched, or they're individually $24. The bundle pricing 3 for $33 is much better. But I have not purchased those yet. Honestly, it's because I've got a couple of other things on my Kringle wish list right now, mainly some extra large vessels that I would like to pick up in either holiday or winter fragrances. In fact, I am planning to eventually do a video here. I'm just trying to work it into my lineup of fragrances, like just to share with you guys what's on my Kringle wish list to purchase in the extra large format. But I'm waiting for an extra large sale on those in order to buy the three wicks that I'm interested in trying out. But eventually I do plan to get my hands on them, you guys, and maybe do some comparisons, particularly the banana bread one, because I do have a country vessel of banana bread that they had in the limited edition last year. I have one of those in my collection right now, so I would like to do a comparison. Anyways, that was a long tangent, but Holiday Churro, great fragrance. So let's go ahead and take a little break there from Kringle and Country, because I do have a lot of Kringle and Country to talk about. Wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on a candle that I showed in the early October candle chat, the Mornings at Levain from SNIF. Now, I purchased this in the 8.5 ounce vessel. I know my friend Melanie got this in the 50 ounce. She's in love with it. Drew Yock, he's in love with it. They both love the big Mama Jama, but I wasn't so sure about this, so I did purchase it in this smaller format. Here's the thing, you guys. I had mentioned when I first bought this that I wasn't so sure about it. I was like, I don't know if I love this as much. I'm going to tell you guys, I've burned this twice since filming that. I know you guys are like, only twice? Yeah, I've had a lot of candles to burn, and truthfully, I've been trying to do some for post-burn reviews. Here's the thing about this one. I actually like this a lot more upon burn. Is it enough that I want to buy the big 50 ounce of it? At this point, I don't think so. And honestly, I'm getting good performance out of this little one. Very similar to the Heal the Way candle that you probably just saw in my empties. I'm honestly a bit impressed by the potency of these smaller SNIF candles. They are a soy wax blend, but they pack a bit of a punch, so which is good because this candle is $46. So anyways, I'm hoping to have a dedicated review on this one probably within the next 2 weeks. I know that this one's kind of been talked about a little bit here in the candle community. But this is kind of like, It's not necessarily bready, but it's not full on like overly sweet bakery type of like overly sweet cookie bakery type of fragrance. It's a beautiful blend of both. It's sweet and savory. Just very, very nice. It's not overdone. Very nice fragrance. In fact, I was burning it yesterday. I had Caramel Sundays Bakery on Main out here in the open concept, and then I was burning this in my bedroom. But this was throwing outside of my bedroom, and I didn't have it in a hurricane or anything. It was performing well. It is 2 wicks. So yeah, this is another one that I've been enjoying a lot more than I thought I would on Cold Sniff. So I will keep you guys posted with some updated thoughts on it. But Mornings at Levain, I am enjoying it more than I initially thought. Let's go ahead and talk about a HOMEWORX candle that was recently sent to me in PR. I think I talked about this one in my most recent HOMEWORX PR haul. This is the fragrance Frozen Balsam. So they did send this one to me in PR. It's a fragrance that's been around for a long time, and I've never had it before. We have fragrance notes of fir balsam, frosted ozone, bergamot, oak moss, and evergreen. So here's the thing about this fragrance. First burn on this one, you guys, was not too strong. I would say that it was a little bit weak sauce for like the first 2 hours. It does have a little bit thinner wicks on it. However, the second burn of this, I felt like the performance was a little bit better. It was probably around like a 6.5 I would give it on the second burn. I'm hoping it'll pick up in some strength and throw. But I like this fragrance. It's not repurchase worthy to me. And I think the reason why is that this is like a cooler, much like the name would imply, frozen balsam. This is like a more cold winter air tree scent. And my personal preferences, I tend to gravitate more towards like warm tree fragrances. There's a little bit more aspects of woodiness. The bergamot in here kind of lends a little bit of citrusy aspects to it. You get a little bit of that like green mossy note in here as well. As far as the tree notes, this is not, if you're somebody who does not like an astringent tree fragrance, then I think that you would like this because there's nothing overly like piney or astringent to me. It's definitely, there's a balsam note in there, which balsam I can go either way. But yeah, it's definitely balsam and evergreen. So it's very fresh. But yeah, performance on this one, like I said, it's only been around like a 6.5 for me, which honestly, I'd like it to be a little bit stronger because there are some fragrances that I actually have really enjoyed pairing this with. I'm going to show you guys what they are in just a moment here, but yeah, really nice. I've liked it, but it's probably not going to be repurchase worthy for me. I think that there's other tree fragrances that I enjoy a little bit more. But yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. Post-burn review on that one will probably be coming up again. I'm thinking I might have that one done for you guys next week. The fragrance that I actually really enjoy burning with Frozen Balsam, this is a fragrance that is actually a repurchase for me. I think I initially tried this in one of the painted 3 wicks and I really liked it. And so I want to say it was back around Mother's Day when they had a buy one, get one sale over at KRINGLE, like a 50% off sale. I was like, you know what? I really enjoyed that for the fall and holiday season. So let's go ahead and get it again. It is the fragrance Cranmary. Now, fragrance notes on Cranmary are sparkling cranberry, juicy orange, bright raspberry, frosted juniper berry, sugared pine, and sweet vanilla bean. Now, I actually was just watching last night, my friend Amy from Beloved Fragrance Finds, she had just done like a KRINGLE wax melt haul, and she got this one in the wax melt, and she was like, ooh, I really like that. And I was thinking, yes, Amy, get it in a candle. It's really good. This is a nice cranberry fragrance. It's not overly tart. There is a sweetness to it. I think that the mixture of like some of those other, like some raspberry, I do smell some raspberry in here. I smell a little bit of citrus, but it's not overtly like orange. I think the citrus lends a little bit of brightness to this, but it's still very much in vein of like a nice like fall fragrance. Sugared pine. I don't get a ton of like I don't really get any like tree notes in here, but yeah, it's a nice like holiday berry type of fragrance, which is funny. I've never really been one who gravitates towards berry scents at the holidays, but I am finding that I love fragrances like this for this time of year. Like I said, where I'm starting to get tired of apple and pumpkin, but I'm not quite ready for all of like the super heavy tree and spice and gourmand, like cookies and all that stuff. Like, I'm not ready for the holiday season yet, but I'm wanting something a little bit different. This has been a really nice fragrance, and it actually pairs really nicely with this frozen balsam. Also, performance on this 2-wick has actually been quite impressive for me. I would give this one about a 7 in terms of strength and throw. I would imagine that this in a 4-wick could probably really do well in like an open concept. But this is a really nice fragrance. Again, it's kind of like a juicy, sweet cranberry type of fragrance, but there's some other berries mixed in here. Really, really like this one paired with the frozen balsam. And I actually didn't bring it out right now just because I knew that I had a lot of candles to burn. But if you are interested in like a little trio, if you're somebody who likes to burn multiple candles like I do, I'm always trying to get through them, use them up. So I typically will have one out here, one in my bedroom, and then one usually in my daughter's room. The other candle that I'm thinking about bringing in to round out that trio is Kringle Candles Away in a Manger. That's kind of like an orange pomander scent. It was actually one of Melanie's rejects for her vintage pomander scent. And I honestly, that's probably my favorite orange fragrance for the wintertime that Kringle has come out with. So anyways, I am going to pair the 3 of those all together. Let's go ahead and play a little bit of Tetris here so that way I know which candles I've already talked about, which ones I need to keep talking about. Let's talk about a Caramel Sundays candle here for just a moment. This is Fall Cider. I did talk about this in my early October candle chat, so I'll just briefly touch on this one. I still love this fragrance. It's a dupe for Bath & Body Works Cider Lane. I think they do it a little bit better than Cider Lane. This one does have a little bit thicker wicks on it. I am noticing that I do need to make sure that I keep them. I've mentioned with Caramel Sundays, sometimes they're 4 wicks. I don't trim, but these are ones where the wicks are not really curling down into the wax and they're a little bit thicker. So I'm making sure that I'm trimming the wicks beforehand. But this one's burning like a champ for me. Again, really, really nice fragrance. And what have I been burning it with? Did I finish burning up another one? I'm trying to remember what I finished burning up that I already have out in my empties. You guys know I actually just uploaded an empties. If this video is going up on Friday, which is when I plan for it to, my empties I think I've scheduled to go up Thursday. You guys know that I actually just did an empties video, but I already have another 4 candles ready to go for my end of the month empties. So you guys, like I said, I am like churning through, trying to get through a lot of these candles. But anyways, this Fall Cider, oh, you know what it pairs really, really nicely with, which by the way, 4-wick, I'm having greater strength and throw than the 2-wick, which is typically the case for me with a lot of Caramel Sundays. The fragrance that talking about empties, that I mentioned in my empties video yesterday, I finished burning a 2-wick and I was burning it alongside Fall Cider, and I'm still burning it along Fall Cider, is the Cinnamon Apple Wreath. Now, in the empties video, I finished up the 2-wick, which was initially sent to me by Kringle in PR. I went ahead and I purchased it in the 4-wick because if you caught my dedicated review, I said, I love this fragrance. I want it to be a little bit stronger, and so I'm going to try it out in the 4-wick. Fragrance notes on Cinnamon Apple Wreath are cinnamon stick, baked red apple, sparkling mandarin, clove bud, mulled cranberry, sugared berries, warm woods, vanilla bean, golden amber. By now, you guys all know, ignore the label, ignore the name. This to me smells more like a creamy, gourmand, cinnamon vanilla type of fragrance, very much in the line of like Bath & Body Works Cuddle Weather. Not quite Cozy Sunday Night, but they're kind of, I would, my greatest comparison would probably be Cuddle Weather. It's just a good, creamy, soft cinnamon vanilla type of fragrance. Love, love, love the scent. And again, I've been pairing it with the Fall Cider. But if you are contemplating purchasing this, I would say go for the 4-wick. If the fragrance description is up your alley, just go with the 4-wick, because I find that the strength and throw on the 4-wick is much improved. It's more so like in line with an 8 for me. So yeah, I have really been enjoying that fragrance. Let me see, what else do we have going on here? Let's talk about another HOMEWORX candle that I received this in PR. This is White Pine and Suede. Now, this was part of their QVC big deal that they did last week. Fragrance notes on this candle are white pine, suede, clary sage, and cedar wood. And I thought, okay, this sounds like a nice fragrance that I can burn in the evenings. It's kind of got a little bit of that like resinous tone that you would get with like a Palo Santo fragrance. I think that's the suede note that they have in here. There's something, it leans slightly masculine, but it's not overly like cologne. You get some of the tree note in there. The tree note is also not overly astringent. It's not like super pine needles. It's more like woody aspect of the tree. Here's the thing I'm going to say, you guys. Performance on this has been really, really, really disappointing. This fragrance, you guys, I've now burned it 3 or 4 times. I was burning this in my open concept. The 2 times I've burned it in the open concept, I can't smell it, like at all. I can barely smell it in my bedroom, master bedroom. And you guys, they sent me this for free. I received this in PR. I'm telling you, I don't know if there's something defective with the oils in this fragrance, but I barely can smell it. So I will do my dedicated review on it. It's a shame because it smells good on cold, but it's extremely, extremely light. Like I might give this one maybe like a 2. I can smell it like if I get really close to it in my bedroom, which is more closed concept. But out here in the open concept, I could not smell it at all. So I don't know what happened with this one, which is a shame because again, I like the fragrance. I have some plans for what I might do with the wax on this one. I'm going to keep burning it, see what happens. But yeah, that one honestly has been a disappointment for me. I'm really glad though that they sent that fragrance to me with the matching hand soap because then at least I can use the hand soap. I love HOMEWORX hand soaps. We all know that. So the fragrance that I have been burning alongside the white pine and suede, or in theory, I thought would be a nice burn alongside that to complement, is KRINGLE Candles Skull and Sonnet. This is from their 2024 Halloween lineup. I honestly, you guys, was shocked to see that this did not make a return this year because I know that it was quite popular last year. I feel like this one and Haunted Hallows were the 2 most popular fragrances from the Halloween Part 1 2024 lineup, but for whatever reason, this one did not return. We have fragrance notes of bourbon, tobacco, sandalwood, suede, amber, and oak, and this is kind of like your I think it was Bonnie. I think she had mentioned that like this smells like a pirate ship, like the captain's quarters of a pirate ship, what you would think it would smell like. And I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. It's woody. You get that tobacco in here. You get some of that suede note. The smoky note, again, is not overly like, it's definitely more pipe tobacco smell than it is like campfire smoky. You get a little bit of bourbon in there, but it's not too sweet. This fragrance, actually, my favorite pairing is with the Reserve Candle Smoke and Oak, which was just in my empties video. I love the pairing of those 2 together. But yeah, this one's a really nice fragrance. I also said if you were ever familiar with the Maison Margiela replica, they had a fragrance which has now been discontinued called Whispers in the Library. This fragrance smells an awful lot like the Whispers in the Library perfume, which I actually have in my collection. The only thing I will say on Skull and Sonnet, Strength and Throw is only about a 6 on that. So if it does make a return, I would like it to be a little bit stronger. Maybe they can, put that fragrance in like a 4 wick and we can get a little bit more oomph. But yeah, that's been a nice fragrance that I really, really enjoy. Another KRINGLE candle that I did a dedicated review on earlier this week. And you guys, this is one that I purchased off of getting a daylight of it first. I was curious. This is not a new fragrance to KRINGLE, but I had seen it. I had seen a lot of people saying how much they enjoyed it. And it is the fragrance Snowcapped Fraser. Now, we all know how much I love Fraser fur fragrances. So I thought, let's give this a try. Bought it in a daylight, smelled it and said, absolutely, I need that in my collection. Fragrance notes of fir balsam, fresh, green, amber, moss, pine, spice, and wood. Now, I mentioned in my dedicated review of this candle, this is definitely more of like a woody tree scent. This is more warm tree fragrance to me, whereas like this HOMEWORX Frozen Balsam reminds me of like cold winter air. This to me reminds me of like a freshly cut tree. You get a lot of the like woody stem in this, but you get the pine needles in here. It's not overly astringent, maybe mildly. I would say it's got a little bit more like pine element to it than the Frozen Balsam from HOMEWORX. Yeah, green, amber, moss, pine. Yeah, there's more green notes to this, but they're very balanced out with the wood. And then they say there's spice in here. which I could see a little bit of spice, but this to me is very much like, it just smells like a freshly cut tree. Maybe if you're like Clark Griswold and you went out into the wilderness and cut down your own Christmas tree, this is what it would smell like. Again, I don't live in a climate where I've ever done something like that, but it almost smells kind of sappy in some ways. Like, it kind of reminds me of like the sap that you smell, but it's not overly sweet. It's a nice fragrance. I did say on this candle though, I feel like Strength and Throw in this 2-wick format is only at about a 6. I would like it to be a little bit stronger. This is one of the candles, just giving you a spoiler alert, would be on my wish list to purchase in a 4-wick from KRINGLE. I don't know if I'll do that this season, but I would like to possibly do that for maybe, you know, holiday season 2026. But the other thing that I will say about this fragrance is that to me, this is not just a distinct Christmas scent. Some people might smell it and be like, oh, it smells like a Christmas tree. But I've really enjoyed burning it right now. I think it complements some of these other fragrances. Like I said, you can burn it with some of these cranberry scents. You can burn it with that Santa's Workshop, another woody scent. It's been a really, really nice pairing with some of these other candles that I have. It's very versatile, I would say. And I feel like this is one that, yes, you could burn it around Christmas, but if you're somebody who wants your candles that you can still burn in the colder months of January and February, this is still a very, very nice tree scent. To me, it's not just distinctly Christmas tree. All right, another candle. You guys, I'm wrapping it up here pretty soon. I'm looking at all that I have here. Another candle from KRINGLE that this was sent to me in PR. I did just do a dedicated review on this one this week as well. This was my #1 fragrance from this year's holiday lineup, and it is the fragrance Christmas Tree Farm. And if you caught that review, spoiler alert, it's still my #1 fragrance from the holiday lineup. We have Fir Needle, Balsam, Pine, Orange, Wood, and Musk. Now this is definitely more, you get the pine needles more forward. So if you're wanting something that's more woodsy, go with the Snowcapped Fraser. If you want something that's more pine needle and you get that citrus note in here, because the citrus is very present in this, then I would say go with this Christmas Tree Farm. This is a beautiful fragrance. Reminds me slightly, I feel like this could be a cousin to last year's Cypress and Cinnamon. If you liked Cypress and Cinnamon, you're going to like Snowcapped, or not Snowcapped, Christmas Tree Farm. You're going to like this fragrance if you liked Cypress and Cinnamon. Very nice fragrance. This one for me, again, probably about between 6.5, 7 in terms of strength and throw. I would like it to be a little bit more. I think I mentioned in the review, one of the things I noticed about this candle is that it takes a little while to get going in terms of throwing. So like the first hour, I noticed that it just kind of wants to stay located to like the radius of where it's burning. But once I have this going for about 2.5 hours, which this 100% soy wax burns so cleanly, that I do start to notice it projecting a little bit more, again, to be more of a 7. But this one, again, I would like it in a 4-wick. This is a very, very nice fragrance. I think that this would pair really nicely also with Cranmary or Away in a Manger. I also have 2 other candles here that I'm going to show you. One is also another KRINGLE that I think pairs nicely with this. But beautiful fragrance. Again, preparing my heart for the holidays, but yeah, really been enjoying this one. Let's just, while we're on the KRINGLE bandwagon here, finish out with the other KRINGLE candle that I've been burning with this Christmas Tree Farm is the fragrance Cozy Christmas. Now this is in their 3-wick painted jar. I'm not sure if this is still available on the website, although I do know that this fragrance is now available in a 4-wick, and it's also still available in the 2 wicks. We have fragrance notes of firewood, Nordic cedar, nutmeg, orange rind, and vanilla bean. And this fragrance to me, oh, it's so good. This one pairs really nicely with Christmas Tree Farm, although this is a little bit different. This has a little bit more of like a hearthside note to it. The firewood, yeah, the firewood Nordic cedar, you get a little bit more woodiness. You get some of the spice, which would be nutmeg, a little bit of vanilla, and an orange rind. Personally, you guys, I think that this is possibly KRINGLE's take, or maybe their version. They're not trying to exactly dupe, but I do think that if you like Bath & Body Works winter, this is, I think, like their iteration of what winter is. It's different. I'm going to show you guys a candle here that I think is almost spot on, but this is a little bit different, but it would complement a fragrance like Winter. I also feel like not only does this complement the Christmas Tree Farm or Away in a Manger really nicely, this would also go really nicely with the fragrance Snowy Bridge from KRINGLE. They both kind of have that like woody undertone going on. I feel like this might go well with Cozy Cabin. There's a lot of possibilities, but I really like this fragrance. I actually have, I think I purchased a couple of these. I purchased 2 of these last year, I think in an after holiday sale. So I have now 1.5 of these 3 wicks left to burn, but really, really enjoy this fragrance. Now, if you are wanting a spot on dupe for Bath & Body Works Winter, another fragrance that I just did a dedicated review on earlier this week. And the reason why I say sometimes, like if you want to dupe for Bath & Body Works Winter, a lot of you guys are like, Bath & Body Works still releases Winter. Well, we think they will. We all know Bath & Body Works does not always come back with fan favorites. But I imagine Winter's been around since the Slatkin days. I think it's one of their most popular fragrances. But there are some people like myself. I prefer soy wax. I've had some issues with the way that Bath & Body Works candles have burned. I'm a little bit concerned about some of the ingredients in their candles. And so, you know, for those of us who maybe want 100% soy wax candles, but there's still some fragrances that we love from Bath & Body Works, may I present to you Caramel Sundays Home for Christmas. Again, did a dedicated review on this earlier this week. This fragrance is being restocked this weekend on October 19th in their October restock. Now, this is coming back in a 4-wick, and it's the only format for this restock. I would imagine that they might bring it in a 2-wick, maybe in November or December restocks. But for right now in October, this is only going to be available in a 4-wick. And this, to me, you guys, this is a spot-on dupe for Bath & Body Works Winter. I'm just smelling the differences between like this one and the Cozy Christmas. This one's a little bit more heavy on the wood, whereas this one, I get more of that like clove and citrus and woodiness. But this to me, if I were to just stick my nose, if you had Bath & Body Works Winter right next to it and then this one, I would think, and I was blindfolded, I would be thinking that I'm smelling the same candle. This is just done so beautifully. I absolutely love it. This is on my wish list to purchase in the 4-wick this weekend. Burns very nicely for me, nice and clean burn as I typically get with 100% soy wax. So if you're curious about more thoughts on it, feel free to go ahead and check out the post-burn review on that. Give me a minute, you guys. I'm going to go run and just showcase to you guys a couple of things that Slatkin & Co. sent to me. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I grabbed these out of my bathroom. So Slatkin & Co. was kind enough to send me a couple of Dwell 212 products. I know that this is kind of like another, maybe like a flanker brand with underneath the Slatkin & Co. umbrella. You know, we've got HOMEWORX, we've got, I think it was like Aroma Home, we've got SCENTWORX, we've got a couple of different brands, but Dwell 212 is a brand that I think was launched about a year ago now, and they were kind enough to sent me a fragrance mist, a hand soap, a shower gel, and I think that they were supposed to send me a body lotion, but somehow I ended up getting 2 fragrance mists, and my my youngest daughter was like, I really like that fragrance, so one of those quickly got stolen away from me. So the first fragrance that they gave me in the fragrance mist is the fragrance Snow. I'd also requested to get this in the body lotion, but like I said, I think something got messed up there. Fragrance notes on Snow, let's see, what does it say here? It just says, a frosty winter wonderland. Think cool and snow day. Now it's funny, my daughter actually sprayed this on herself and it smells really good. It's kind of clean. It's clean but wintry. Yeah, I actually really like this. I might consider getting the body lotion for her. This isn't really a fragrance that I personally would wear, but I do think that it's very clean. And I'm just going to say that, like, for me, I'm not really into like that, like clean girl things. I love like gourmands or heavy, like I love really heavy vanillas right now or boozy types of scents. I actually just posted the other day, one of my favorite fragrance combos right now is Nest Vanilla Bourbon with Bath & Body Works Warm Vanilla Sugar. it's a great combination. But anyways, this is really nice. My daughter has really, really been enjoying it. And then they sent me the hand wash in their fragrance Gingerbread. Now, you guys know I'm a huge fan of the HOMEWORX hand soaps, but we all know it's the time of year where we're going to have a lot of germs circulating, so y'all better be washing your hands. I've mentioned this before. My kids, the phrase in our household is always, you walk in through the door after you've been at school, out at the grocery store, anywhere in public. If we have been out of the house, you walk into this house and you take off your shoes and you wash your hands. Those are the things that have like been drilled into my kids. So we go through a lot of hand wash in our house. So I'll never turn down hand wash. We've got, it says a favorite wintertime treat, think sugar, spice, and everything nice. And it says that these are vegan, cruelty-free, aluminum-free, gluten-free, sulfate-free, petrolatum-free, phthalate-free, and paraben-free. So those are, the things that are in here. This smells good. The gingerbread in this is not overly spicy, which is kind of nice. Melanie has said that she likes this fragrance too because it kind of reminds her more of like European gingerbread, and I would agree with that. It's not overly like spicy. It's a really, really nice scent. So we've got the hand wash here, and then I did decide to get the peppermint body wash because I actually do like me some peppermint body wash in the wintertime. I find it to be very invigorating and lively. So we've got some peppermint body wash here. Let me see. It says a burst of cool, awakening freshness. Think cool and minty. So let's open this up. Yeah, it's peppermint. Kind of smells like the peppermint snowdrop candle. Really nice, kind of like a peppermint vanilla type of base. If you tend to like Bath & Body Works Twisted Peppermint, I think that you would like this. It's peppermint. It's a nice scent. So anyways, a huge thank you to Slatkin & Co. for sending these to me. I do believe that these are now currently available on the Slatkin & Co. website. Don't quote me, but you might want to, I feel like Dwell 212 products were or are also sold at Walmart. Don't quote me. Go ahead and check out the Walmart website. Maybe I'll do a little bit of research and I'll let you guys know right here if they are. But anyways, these are available. I know for sure that I've seen them on the Slatkin & Co. website. So those are just some fun little body products. So like I said, we had a lot to chat about here today. I tried to get through it all as succinctly as I could. It's always hard for this video, you guys, because I know that it tends to be a little bit lengthy, but also I want to give you guys the information. I want to be able to share with you guys just in a more like real-time, laid-back way how some things are burning for me, what I'm loving, what I'm noticing. It's just a little bit more casual, I guess. So anyways, you guys, last thing that I did want to say is that hopefully this weekend I will have the Kringle. They do have a holiday reserve launch happening. I believe it's on October 28th. A lot of people are like, oh, that's a Tuesday. Why would they be launching that on a Tuesday? It does seem a little random. That will be launching Tuesday, October 28th at noon. My guess, I haven't had this confirmed, but my guess is maybe that the Halloween holiday, because it falls on Friday the 31st, maybe they were trying to avoid doing like a Thursday launch. I don't know. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe they were trying to give themselves a couple of days for before that. I don't know. Even though I know Halloween is not really like a holiday, maybe because it falls on a Friday this year. I don't know. I don't know. That's just my thought. Maybe that's why they're doing it on a Tuesday. But anyways, I did want to let you guys know that I pre-filmed this video a couple of days before I plan to put it up. But those candles, I have been notified, are being sent to me in PR. I have asked my other half. Quite a few of you guys noticed. You guys said, "Hey, you guys missed the tradition this year. He didn't join you for the Kringle holiday launch." So maybe we're going to try to make up for that. I'm going to see if maybe he can film that video with me. If you guys are new to my channel, that is my husband, Cody. We all get a kick sometimes. Sometimes he's done a couple of, in the years past, he's done some of the Kringle holiday first sniffs with me, and his opinions are, well, he has some opinions sometimes. And so I know that sometimes that's fun to have like another nose sniffing some of the candles and sharing their thoughts. So we're going to do our very best to see maybe if he can join me for that. But yes, there will be 4 candles coming in that reserve launch. And I will make sure to do some first sniffs for you and do my very best to try to get some post burns up prior to that launch. So anyways, you guys, Please hit thumbs up if you found this video helpful, or if you enjoyed it. Consider maybe hyping this video. I know that's a new feature here on YouTube, that I should be a better YouTuber and research how that works a little bit more, but consider hyping it if you would like. Again, if you are new and you would like to subscribe to candle content, I tend to, like I said, do this video twice a month. I also do empties twice a month. I do a lot of dedicated reviews in between. And like I said, I'm trying to come up with some other content for the next couple of months, you know, because it can, sometimes it starts to feel a little bit redundant. Not so much for me, but I never want you guys to feel that way. So let me know if you guys would ever be curious for like a sit down Q&A, or like I said, I've got a wish list going for some 4 wicks at KRINGLE that I'd like to share with you guys. Just let me guys know let me know if you guys have any ideas for videos that you would like to see from me. Feel free to drop them in the comment box down below. All right, this video is pretty lengthy. We are a little bit over 45 minutes now. So I think that's my cue that it is time for me to go. I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.